We are live. Wake up!
Hello.
Are you double sure?
Everything all right?
We are.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, no responses. I was like, oh, everyone's just dead quiet.
It's your fault that we're dead quiet. We were talking to you and you weren't responding.
Okay, something's on my computer then.
Yeah, because I even said wake up and you didn't wake up, so I hit the button to start the thing.
Oh, there it is. It says we're live now.
Oh, okay, this is gonna be a fun episode.
Well, I don't know. It's pretty much that we have been live. We have been live for a minute now.
Well, how you guys doing?
I'm doing well. What are we even here to do then?
Cap off this review saga of Kenobi.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, sounds fantastic.
Get back to our regular schedule.
Oh yeah.
So what did you think of the last episode? Without spoilers, first 3 seconds.
Me or yeah, Katrina, you go first. You go first.
Definitely the best of the bunch. They got better. They got the hang of it.
At the end.
Lots. I mean, I really felt that they bridged a lot of fan service to the original trilogy, at least A New Hope. I felt there was a lot of nods to a lot of the content, not just on screen, but there was some comic stuff, and I think there was a lot more character development than normal than in the rest of them. I think I liked it. Definitely liked it more than the rest. Probably, I won't give my grade yet.
I mean, not to be a jerk, but I don't think it's a hard stretch to say it was better than the previous ones.
I might honestly say it's leagues above the others.
Okay, what do you think, Canadian?
Oh, I hated it. No, I hated it so much because it made me realize how underwhelming and bad the other episodes were. No, it was a fantastic episode. It's basically I'll give my number later on, but I really enjoyed every moment of it, minus one moment, and then that was about
Don't be scared. Wait for your friends to discuss it. Give your numbers out.
Oh, okay.
Give them out. What do you think?
9 out of 10.
Wow,
that is a bold.
It was gonna originally initial viewing and hype and excitement. It was a 10 out of 10.
No,
I had to take it down due to one storyline specifically.
I only watched it once. So
that is
maybe if I watch it again, my score might go up.
It might go down. It always
the opposite of me.
No, trust me. A
lot of my brain works.
Were like 1 or 2 points higher than I watched the second time, and I started going, "What the hell?" When I watched it the second time, and it was like, I will say this: I enjoyed it the whole way. It was hard to enjoy some parts because they screwed it. Right? They screwed the episodes all the way up to that point, and then they just kept screwing up stuff. We'll talk about it. I just don't think Disney knows how to handle female characters. People try to give them all this credit because they keep trying to force feed female characters. The problem is they're not good at writing them. So even when they have a character, they're just not good at presenting them. And we'll talk about that. And then, but I do think the writer obviously needs to get an award. Okay, so we need to find out who he is. And then every time he's at a bar, I demand all 4 people that watch these videos, if he lives in your town or she, because I'm not sure if it's a guy, right? I said it one time, yeah. if you know who he is and he's at a bar, he never buys a drink for the rest of his life because he did the best he could with the crap that was put on his table to like land the ship. And I'm assuming a few things he did on this one, he did on purpose. And, you know, and it could be the brain trust, you know, because I will say this, we give them a lot of crap. But if you just go back and look, maybe get a pencil. If you want to play this game later and you get bored and you want to watch all the Kenobi series again, get a pencil. And even in our knowledge of Star Wars, you probably can't write down. You might have to watch like New Rockstars or something to know all the Easter eggs. And they are so obscure. They're so weird that they clearly got like Jedi level nerds working for them at Lucas that like are putting this little thing from a random video game from like, you know, 20 years ago, like no one played on the like original Atari or something. And so they're really good at that kind of stuff. And I think it's just the reason why they get in their own way is because Disney is a corporation, right? They try to appeal to as many people as they can. They try to sell things. And they think the way they're doing that is kind of the way Marvel does it. Where if we become, I don't want to say woke because it's overplayed, but if we just try to appeal and think that we're like on the right side of history, that if
you go too broad,
they're too broad, and then because they try to appeal to so many people, ends up. I mean, you have to have a jerk, you have to have an ass, you have to have a reason to fight, and when you don't really want to have a jerk, because Disney's Disney. I mean, they have villains, but not.
You don't want to commit to the villain.
Yes, you don't want to commit to the scene.
You have to find a sympathetic point of view. It just becomes.
Ryan Reynolds is one of the worst human beings on the planet. I'll stick to that to the day I die. What Ryan Reynolds? One of the worst human beings on the planet. Everybody knows that. He's the worst. Okay. What I will say about him though is when he went Deadpool, he went full commit for literally no reason whatsoever. There are scenes, and I saw an interview with his wife the other day. There are scenes where he is pretending to have things stuck in him for no reason whatsoever, other than he was just committing to the Deadpool character, and he was willing to go that far for that character. And like Disney won't even make a bad guy that's kind of bad. The fact that everybody lost their mind because somebody lost a hand, they're like, oh, Disney showed a hand being cut off. They showed the hand being cut off in 1978 or whatever. Like this shouldn't be something that everyone's like, oh, maybe Disney's going to go full rated R. No, they're not. Take it down a notch. No, they're not. They're not going to do that. But all right, so let's just jump into it. How did the show start? This is spoilers from now on, by the way. How did the show start? Land it for us.
Well, it kicked right off following their escape.
Well,
and I already had nitpicks as soon as it started.
Okay, that was the
As soon as it started, I was like,
usually it's me sitting going when you guys are talking, and he's like, I was already ready to go.
That was the that especially on the second viewing annoyed me. That part.
What exactly was?
Well, I mean, so obviously everyone was making jokes in episode 4 about how when the Snowspears show up, they're attacking, and there are TIE fighters hanging in the Inquisitorus, and nothing happens. And then you have the Star Destroyer chasing this tiny ship that can't go to light speed. And there's not a single TIE fighter scrambled.
None.
To catch up immediately to a ship that has no defenses.
And the Star Destroyer was just pew, pew,
and missing every shot.
Yeah, okay. So
for how long?
To your point, a little plug here on MrGarrell Gaming. I'm playing Knights of the Republic, and do you know one of the first missions you have to do is you have to steal the Sith codes, because that game takes place thousands of years ago. You have to steal the Sith codes because of auto-targeting lasers would mean that no ship could get anywhere near out of range or out of the atmosphere, because the auto-targeting lasers would take you out. And this is the theme that happens in Star Wars everywhere, except for on apparently Darth Vader's ridiculously slow-moving vehicle, slow-moving thing. He can't seem not to only hit anything. No one's dying, by the way, because if I'm Darth Vader, I'm looking over there, and that little ensign's like, damn it, they won't hold still. I would just break his neck and get on there and go, Jesus Christ, somebody hand me the thing. Hand me the thing. I'll take them out.
He stands there, has the big controls come down, he grabs them himself.
An Xbox controller drops down. I got this. Let me take it out in 2 seconds. That was, yeah.
At the same time, the ship's going like this, dodging the bullets, the lasers, and everyone inside is just Standing.
There's a scene in Star Trek where like what's his name is, he's talking about all the maneuvers they did, and he goes, "How'd you get away with that?" "Oh, that was the maneuver 75 or whatever." Everybody knows the maneuver rock the baby. That's the best defense for anything. You can't hit anything when you rock the baby. That's number one defense right there.
And they went milkshake inside there.
You were talking about Spaceballs earlier, and I was like, that would be a joke on Spaceballs. They're like, "Sir, why aren't you hitting them?" "Sir, they're using rock the baby." Damn, like that's what it's like watching them not be able to hit that ship.
And there was a pretty long scene inside the transport.
It did drag on a little much.
It did.
But that, I mean, how long did Vader need to get that damn ship? They were having a soapy inside there.
Well, and it was funny. Okay, so like everybody in the ship, so he's sitting there and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna give Vader what he needs because we got to get you guys going. Look, listen, all you uneducated farmers and stuff, you're the future. I'm gonna go sacrifice myself. The really famous military leader, the last Jedi, the one that could train the world again, probably the only hope for the future of the world. I'm gonna go sacrifice myself because all of you guys, you're the true future." And I was like, no one said, "Wait a minute, I'll sacrifice myself. You're Kenobi, stay here." Everybody's like, "Oh, okay, then have a great trip." Like, I was like, what? That doesn't even make sense.
They were happy not to get killed. They were like, thank you.
I mean, obviously. But I just thought that was a weird argument. He was like, "Listen, I'm like a nobody, and you guys are like a room full of heroes, clearly. So I'm gonna go sacrifice myself."
God. But then, I did like the Grand Inquisitor in that scene, though. I thought it was great. And then he made like, "Lord Vader, what are you doing? We should just keep going with these guys." And Vader's like, "No, we're going after him." And the Grand Inquisitor just bites his tongue, like, "Okay."
He literally,
right.
You can physically see him bite his tongue. He really went, like, he really like bit his tongue.
So good.
That was awesome. Because like the first time that I feel like whoever was writing, like, knows the relationship between those two, and the Darth Vader can't stand none of them. And for any excuse in the world, he'll cut an arm off, leg off, head off. He doesn't care. So there wasn't like, "Sir, but okay." It was just like, yep, he like zipped it up because he knows that he'll lose his mind if you try to stop him.
This is how today's gonna go.
A lot of us lost our mind in episode 1, 2, and 3 because they were just not listening. I'm like, Darth Vader would murder them all. Like, I don't understand what's happening.
You would lose it. And then, then again, they turn the giant ship slowly towards the other guy. None of the fighters get scrambled after the. That's my only nitpick, because it's like that's kind of ridiculous. But
well, you know what the problem is? I think that technology hadn't caught up yet. Because if I remember correctly, shortly after this time, in Luke's time, so they must develop this thing called the tractor beam, like, I guess in the next 20 or 30 years, because I feel like the other squad, they just couldn't get away. So they could be flying at full speed. All of a sudden, they're like, "They got us," and they start flying backwards. I guess they didn't have that technology here, because I feel like you could have done that possibly. I don't know.
They had a tractor beam in the last episode. It was Darth Vader.
Yeah.
It has to be the reason.
After that, he was like, "Wait a minute, I got a good idea for him."
or here's the other question, right? We know there's at least one shuttle, but then also the Inquisitor, he had to have got on that ship somehow, right? So, like you were saying,
he would have joined the same shuttle, I think.
Okay,
well, be singing coach.
Even if you're not going to send a TIE fighter, shouldn't you go, "Listen, I'm going to go kill Kenobi"? What you do as the Grand Inquisitor, which is like, so he's like second in charge, you go take one of the other 15 shuttles we have and a, posse of TIE fighters, go take them out because they're not going to be able to go anywhere. They can't go anywhere. And then I'm going to go kill Kenobi. Boom. Rebellion's over with. But no,
he's probably not a pilot.
But at the end of the day, that's also Star Wars. Like we were talking about that couple episodes ago. This is Star Wars. This is, suddenly you can go into light speed right next to a ship and cut it in half and blow up an entire armada. And people are like, "Wait a minute, why haven't you ever done that if that's all it takes? Or why do you just have a robot do it?" But
they must have Bounty Hunter on there somewhere. Just hanging out on the Star Destroyer.
So
they could have jumped out and helicoptered after it.
That would have been great. He put one of those little like rebreathers on. He's like over to the other thing. Okay, well then they split off. So we, the survivors, they're good. Apparently they're good.
Yeah, Yeah.
Kenobi goes to the planet and he lands. And I must say, I watched it a few times now because I had to edit it a few times. We'll see the clip. I don't know if I have a complaint during that fight. There was like a lot of Easter eggs. There was a moment where when Kenobi was still, you can tell, trying to get Anakin to talk to him, he started doing the twirly cues behind his back like Anakin used to do. I don't think that was an accident. I think he was doing that on purpose, trying to get his attention.
No. Yeah.
And I don't know. I didn't really have that much of an argument. I mean, I would have liked to see Darth Vader maybe 1.5 speed just because of how he is in the books and the comics, but it is hard to do because I know they still try to make him like a Jason or something.
Michael Myers, lumbering.
And sometimes he does move a little bit slower than I wish he would, but you can say there was emotion and stuff in that.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
the only negative I have to say about it was I don't know why they have to cut away from a lightsaber battle
so
many times.
They did it twice. Yeah, twice.
That was what I told you when we were making our predictions. Is I hope that they don't cut away from the lightsaber battles. But I thought they were going to cut away to more of them sparring, which I wouldn't have been that upset about. But to cut away the way they did, I was kind of like,
If they cut away to say the rebels being chased by TIE fighters and then like engaging in like a space fight, there was no space battle in the show. Like say they had like a turret.
I didn't realize. I guess there wasn't.
There was not a single space battle. No, even though there was ships and flying and all that. There was
in a TV show called Star Wars. There wasn't any Star Wars
because you don't know when they cut away. Is time still progressing the same during their battle while there's other things going on?
Either.
The positive I will say about that though is it wasn't a really long fight. As somebody who had to cut it twice, it's a really long fight. If they didn't cut away, it would have been a shorter fight. So I guess you got to deal with what you got to deal with in a time.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a 5 minutes.
It's pretty good.
Not counting the end point when they talk to each other.
Yeah, like I think I have 2 clips and both a minute long, and I cut out like the whole center part. So,
it's 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just watch the first.
Yeah.
Here's the first clip where they. I gotta make sure I do this right. Yep. Okay.
I will do what I must.
All right.
Brutal.
So that's the first part. I will say Kenobi lighting his lightsaber without hesitation, without any whiny BS.
I will do what I must.
I'll do it. Now, I will say this: before he goes there, he breaks a Kenobi commandment, okay? And he says, basically, I'm gonna have to go there because one of us has to die. Like, it's it. We're gonna fight, and one of us doesn't leave that planet. And that's an absolute, and Jedi's don't deal in absolutes, and he didn't say we're gonna go there to see what happens. We're gonna go there, and one of us is dying when I get there.
I was to say with the fight, there was two things I took as well. I really liked the callbacks. There were a lot of great callbacks throughout it, either in how they fought or things they said. I also like the restraint because there was that moment when Kenobi's getting piled with all the rocks after he gets knocked down. And I was sitting there the whole time in my head waiting for him to say, and now I have the high ground. And he didn't. And I was like, and everyone's like, okay, we all know he's thinking that.
Yeah.
They didn't say it because it would have been a little on the nose, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but people I saw a lot of people make that comment. They missed an opportunity for a high ground comment.
He's saying in his head. He's like Vader's saying in his head.
You have to have a head in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Now
he had the high ground. I mean, he had it.
So you said as well you had no complaints about the fight. There was one thing I do remember. So in the fight, I did really like the music. I thought the music was well done. If I had to nitpick something, I would have liked a little musical motif of either the Battle of the Heroes or Vader's theme or the Force, something, a little motif there, opposed to just the new one. Even though the new one was quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I was just trying to think. I mean, of course, you do the best you can with what you got, obviously, because the people who are watching this know that Kenobi's not dying in this, so it makes it where you don't have a lot to hope for or root for because you know he's not dying.
I mean, they cut his arm off, just put him back in his undies.
This is Disney Star Wars, so like most TV shows and movies you're watching, people aren't dying. Like when they do die, you're like shocked that they die. Like holy crap. But yeah, like I don't know, it was good. I didn't, like I said, I didn't really have, other than maybe he could be slightly faster. Have
you seen this cover before?
No.
I have not actually.
This is the 1:25 ratio to number 7.
25, fine.
It's Tony Moore.
Oh, Walking Dead. Yes,
Tony Moore. But it just reminded because it was like rocks and stuff flying around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that what's above him? Rocks? I thought that was like some kind of weird fingers or something.
There's all sorts. Yeah, that's the fingers, the hand of the guy he's facing.
Oh, the stuff floating directly behind him. Oh, okay.
But there's all sorts of debris and stuff flying around, and I just
yeah, that scene where he
you actually just
where he lifts those rocks and then pelts Vader with it, that was freaking awesome. Like that was super cool.
So I was gonna say that scene actually, someone brought, I saw it online that someone said it's very similar to this piece of art that was made years ago by like an artist for IRLM, basically, like reimagining the scene from New Hope.
I mean,
it was oddly similar, him raising his hands up straight there, and then all the blasters going, opposed to rocks being sent.
I mean, kind of, sort of. I just think it's cool that, like, I mean, you had a few. Dennis Tran, what's happening?
Oh.
Hey, you know he didn't blow it at a Star Wars convention thing? Hoosier. That's who didn't. or Hosier. I might actually stop calling him Hoosier after he didn't blow it at the convention center.
Now, when it comes to Fan Expo, that would be the difference.
Now, when Vader knelt down and did the whole earthquake thing, I definitely cheered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was cool. Like I wouldn't expect him to do that. Yeah.
The use of the Force was a lot of fun in the fight. It was
I was going to say
effective.
But personally, for me, him raising the rocks and using them the way he did was super cool because of the fact that, like, they make that cool, but it's kind of corny, especially in the movies, and cringe because it's like you're fighting and then somebody not very slyly starts shaking their hand and then something starts to rock and then it breaks away and it kind of slowly flies to them and they can just brush it aside. And I've always thought it was weird because in the movies, you never see somebody like, or if you do, not all the time, throw something at somebody, it hits them, and then the lightsaber's like directly in their face, like they use it. It's almost like a get away from me. And the guy's like, haha, can't hit me with that floating thing. And the fact they have a scene where Kenobi raised like 200 pretty big stone and started pelting his ass like a machine gun with it. I was like, yeah, that is what you should be doing as like a Jedi power. Not just one little like random thing connected to the wall, like some kind of weird water coolers on the wall, and you throw it at them or something. Like I thought that was
Dooku
cool.
did pretty good.
Yeah,
throwing stuff around.
And then he tried to drop like half a mountain on Vader.
He's like, I see your powers returned.
Yeah, and then Vader kind of push it pretty hard. Yeah. I thought that was cool. Yeah, but when Vader said I'll do what I must or whatever, I mean Kenobi, and he went into the Kenobi stance, I was like, God damn it, somebody might be doing something right. Like I got my hopes up for half.
Someone on set was like, I've had it every day I've been here, and every day I've been waiting for this.
It's time to land this damn plane. I've had enough of this crap. So they start to fight, as you see in the one that I just showed.
You get blasted in the face.
If I had a fight, I guess, about this, the lightsaber was a little too effective. We all know that most of Vader's armor is supposed to be at least somewhat resistant.
As we know, by the Stormtrooper armor taking 2 hits, Vader's armor should take about 1,000.
Although, you know, Kenobi, I did think it was clever. And because you can, if you want to be that guy and you want to like give people credit or give people the doubt, is that perhaps when Kenobi does stuff like slice his cape, hit him in the head with the thing, bash his internal, you know, his out buttons and everything. I mean, that could have been for canon when Vader was like, "Crap, the suit design is off because Kenobi just sliced me up like an avocado." And all you do is like one smash to my, because when I was a little kid, the first time I saw Vader, I wondered about that. But what I wondered is there's all those switches. And I was like, well, what happened if you walked up to him and hit a switch? Like, that's what I was wondering. What if I just hit a switch? Does it turn something off? Like
an old call-up sensor moving all the cords around.
Yeah, so like that could be, this fight could be what changes the way his helmet, you know, I mean his whole armor. He could be like, okay, obviously I can't let somebody hit my switch.
Because this takes
somebody hit me in the back.
How long? Well, obviously, no. That this takes place 7 years before Rebels, when we see Kenobi again. I don't know how long it takes place before we see Vader in fight Ahsoka.
I know we've said this before, but I want everyone to stop and think about this for a minute. 7 years. Kenobi looks the way he does, dashing and amazing. All of like 35, he wears that age well in real life. That he's going to look 125 years old in 7 years. He's going to look so old. So much so, the first thing Darth Maul says to him is, look how old you've gotten. Like a little like desert rat or whatever.
Well, you know why he probably said that? Because he probably saw when the bounty thing came up with him. He was probably like, damn, 7 years, man.
Because Maul is like, and Maul ain't looking too hot himself. And Maul's shocked, like, Jesus, these two sons, good Lord, why are you on this planet, man?
Yeah, there's no reason you'd be on this planet if you're going to age like this.
All right, here's the other clip I made for this because obviously the fight's too long. Oh, and I have not said it yet. Disney, of course. All praise and love to the mouse. Obviously, none of these clips belong to me. I'm just happy that you allow me to bask in your greatness that is Disney. All right, let's start the clip.
Anakin. Anakin's gone. I am what remains. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anakin. For all of it. I am not your failure, Obi-Wan. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. The same way, I will destroy you. Then my friend is truly dead. Goodbye, Darth.
So good.
Is it
like perfection to me.
Best
all right, so
in
here,
the whole series.
Oh
yeah. Oh, that's where you know,
acted their ass.
That's why you paid the actor that plays Kenobi the big bucks right there. I don't know what he got paid, but here's the thing. Here's where I break away from my fellow haters on this series. There's a lot of people that were upset by this. Here's where I think this is the most amazing piece of writing that we have seen since Disney has happened. This little bit, because it sets up everything. Like for everything wrong they did in this series, to me personally, it was in 1 minute and 41 seconds. I left it all in there. I'm sorry, Disney. I know you don't like that, but I left it all in there.
You have to.
Because you can see right there, and then later on they double confirm it just to make sure that this is correct. a little bit of emotion that's not supposed to be there. What Darth, it's kind of like when his nephew was saying that there is no, I don't care about my daddy, I don't care about my mommy, when he clearly does. This is the way Vader's doing this, because he is trying to plead to Kenobi, and in my opinion, you can see that, Anakin, to me, you can see by him saying there's not, that there is a little bit of Anakin left there. And I think this is the seed that gets planted for Luke to be able to unlock the rest of it. And it shows you by later on, we'll talk about it, when the Emperor's talking to him and he was like, why do you even give a shit about Kenobi? You are Darth Vader. Only Anakin would care about, is what he's saying. Only Anakin would care about Kenobi. Why do you even give a shit? You're Darth. He's nothing. He's nothing to you. You let the other ones go to chase this guy. Are you sure Anakin's dead? And I think it's like that little bit of slight thing that they plant the seed that is able for Luke to, like, later on finish unlocking the fact that Anakin is still there no matter how much you protest. And I thought it was amazingly well written and well done. I know that even I've given shit about his acting ability, but Mr. Vader himself did a pretty good job there. He did a pretty damn decent job.
I absolutely loved. Obviously, it's so obvious, and but it's such. I love it. It was obviously with the lightsaber colors making it go.
Yeah,
Anakin's not dead. If his face is all blue, and you see Hayden's doing a great job, and he's just very calm. He's like, I'm not your failure. Like, you didn't kill Anakin. And then the little smile is coming up. You can see it, barely see it over the helmet. He's like, I did. Cuts back to Kenobi. The blue light disappears, and the red light comes in, and then it's just so good. Like, I love it. I literally perfection to me, that whole scene.
And it's great. And the last thing I'll say is also the perfect way they didn't try to use the old tropes and have I love my man. You know that no one's a bigger Kenobi fan than me, but he loves his Jedi lectures. God, he loves those damn lectures. That's half the reason why I think that teenager left and became Darth Vader, because he was tired of his dad lectures. He had the moment right there to give him another lecture. He didn't. He just broke down and said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything that happened. No, why did you do this? You were supposed to be the choice. None of that nonsense. Yeah. He just said, I am sorry.
For all of it. He just lumped it all in.
I'm sorry that all this happened. And I think even when Anakin said, and I think that was Anakin who said, this ain't your doing, like, this is me. I think it's because he saw that. And that's what I'm saying. It's those little bitty things that put that doubt back in there, that his son was able to finish unlocking it later. I don't think, and then of course he walks away by calling him Darth, which is awesome, because that's what old man Guinness would call him, was Darth. So
because that's the whole thing. Like, why would we just call him Darth? It's really weird, and that's a great lead in. Like, obviously, he's like, I don't see you. You're just like any other Sith we fought. You're just an old Darth.
I got two things. I really love the voice changes. It says Obi-Wan as Darth Vader. But I think they might have studied what they did to his makeup as far as his scars.
Oh yeah, that one across the head, obviously. I think
across the head, and there's one across the cheek. And they match
what
he did to him.
Obviously, this episode, a lot of love and care put into it in terms of details.
I would just love to find out, and we'll find out at some point, what's happening, Mr. Bird. It would be nice if we can find out, was it the same team and just happened to be a slightly different writer, or these last two episodes were they able to pull people from other stuff like Mandalorian to land this plane? Because it just feels like a totally different show. It felt like they emergency brought a bunch of people in to help get the show back on track.
Yeah, someone that actually seen the movie. Yeah.
1 second.
What is going on? Hello. I don't know if you're aware of this, but every Wednesday we do this show. We have it planned out and everything.
I'm checking my notes. I have one negative nitpick and one positive.
I let the rabbit loose, and the rabbit decided to get into places it shouldn't have been.
The rabbit?
Yes, I put the rabbit away.
Did you name it Usagi?
I'm not that guy. I'm not the fourth member. The one thing. What was it? Oh, the thing I was going to say.
I think he was going to tell us his nitpick. What was your nitpicking?
No. Just for the remainder of the show.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you meant.
After,
I was
after
gonna
the
say-
fight.
Listen, I wasn't ready to fight you, but I really wanted to hear somebody say, "No, that shit was shit." The whole thing, because I was gonna say, "What was shit about this little exchange?" Like, if this is
No, it
shit,
was
right?
great.
I just need to get quit because I thought it was pretty good. This exchange. I have two. You guys probably know both of them because one I've been bitching about every single episode. I have two pretty big canon issues left that I'm like a little annoyed by. But
I have an issue left as well, but a canon issue, but I might just forgive it almost at this point.
Yeah, at this point, which is a problem. It's a problem that we've expected so little that now we're just willing to overlook stuff. And I remember watching one review. I think I only watched it for like episode 2 or something because he was pretty negative, but he did make a good point. It's like basically don't fall for it. It was like when you hear a good. Sometimes you gotta listen to good conspiracy theorists that are out of their mind, but you gotta listen to them because they're hilarious. It's like watching a soap opera or something. And they're like, oh, they put rockets on the moon to keep us from realizing that our water is went bad or whatever. It's like that. And he was kind of doing that. And he was like, they give you a quick glimpse of some candy. They're like, oh, have a piece of candy, little kid, to not look at the fact that the show's crap. And so it was hilarious how much ranting he was doing. But it's kind of right. Like they keep doing that little bitty stuff and we're falling for it. Like the episode where Darth Vader's walking down the street, dragging people behind him was cool. And it was like, everyone's like, oh, that was super cool. But before and after that directly were terrible. But it's like they gave us that one Darth Vader moment we wanted. So we were forgiving the rest of it.
It's funny.
That's funny.
Say, yeah.
And then he just
the thing I was gonna say, brother, was some information came out about the series and what it originally was supposed to have been. So it also explains what was going on with the screenplay and how everything was adapted. I'll say that after you talk about the whole episode.
So I cut out the 45 seconds of Vader just screaming Kenobi because I figured we don't need to hear him screaming Kenobi as he walks away. And then we would probably at that point cut to the desert planet, I assume. Is that where we cut to? Probably. I can't think.
Are we talking about the Reva stuff?
Yeah, wouldn't that be the next place?
It was next.
All right, so here's a small nitpick, and I'm sure this won't be very popular on the internet.
Wait, before we get there, so he leaves, right? The planet that he basically flew to after they split up, right? The Star Destroyer. What was going on there still with the Star Destroyer and the transport? The transport, did it get fixed? I only watched it once, so I can't remember if.
Well, they didn't resolve it. I think
they never resolved it.
Well, no, he said they just needed more time to fix the hyperdrive.
Yeah, we're assuming they got away. But hold on.
The thing is, so
how did Kenobi get off the planet?
Kenobi left, and he had a hyperdrive in his shuttle.
Clearly, he does. Yeah, because he should be flying today.
This whole time, they're looking for a hyperdrive, and he had one in his damn shuttle, which was on the transport.
Maybe it wasn't a hyperdrive. Maybe it was a time teleporter that he was able to.
But he left the planet and then he went into hyperspace to Tatooine.
You think he waved at them while they were fixing theirs? See you at the end. That's a good point, though.
Okay, that was one of my
the other issue. Now that you mentioned it, is he beats Vader. He flies up. The giant ship sees that's not Vader's ship, and they're like, "Oh, I guess he won." Hey, well played. Good game to you, sir. And they let him leave, I guess. Like, I didn't even think about that, but what did he put on a cloaking device?
Well, he took hyperdrive immediately, right? So they wouldn't be able to stop him.
Okay, but then now you're back to Kachung's point. Why can't you just take the hyperdrive out of one ship and put it in the other one? Just cram everybody in the other. I don't. He makes
There's some weight limit. Yeah, who knows?
Anyway,
just put the Kenobi's thing in the front and put some bungee cords and then have that pull the other ship into hyperdrive or something. I mean, I figure.
We all know they can climb outside the ship and just ignite. He can ignite their hyperdrive with his lightsaber if he just climbs on top.
Tacoma, what's happening? Yeah, we had to get Florida man on this because he would have been like, what's what we're gonna do? We're gonna put the little shuttle in front of the big shuttle. We're gonna get some rope. We're gonna tie it on, baby. You make a good point. Yeah, so here's my overall thing. Like I said, it's not gonna be very popular. I would love for Disney. I have a daughter to be able to write females. They can't. They just can't. And they can't write them because they will not let them be vulnerable. They will not let them make mistakes. Here's another one that just kind of made me go, what's going on? So every female in this show is a badass. It doesn't matter. None of them are like, even the one that stands up to him and gets her hand cut off is like, who the hell you think you are? They zip, they cut their hand off. All the guys are like cowering. All right. About to hit circus. So what are you watching us for? Good Lord Almighty, sir.
The elephants are not yet, so he's waiting for the.
So we go to the aunt and uncle, and the uncle is sitting there like he's confused, like he doesn't know what's happening. She's gonna be here any minute. And what does the wife do? She's the one that jumps in the charge and opens the secret hatch and gets the gun out, throws it at him. He's like, oh, Martha, what are you doing? Oh, like, and then she's like, take your positions. We take her at night. And I was just like, Disney. So what you're saying is right now she's a badass who runs this place, and in 10 years from now she's gonna be the meek housewife pouring the blue milk, going, "You gotta let him go with his friends. Most of his friends have left." Like, come on! Like either she was a badass. I don't mind her being a badass. She has to be. She lives out in the freaking desert. You know what I mean? Fighting, apparently not anymore, but sand people, because Lord knows they can't be evil either. But fighting sand people, she's clearly a badass. I wish they would have made her a badass in 1978 instead of, or maybe, you know what? I got it. Maybe she has killed enough sand people that she's like, listen, I did my killing.
John Wick.
I poured the blue milk, and now it's up to you to do the killing. And maybe she became a pacifist, and that's why, Boba Fett lets them on fire later on, because she was like, I've already killed too many people. I'm like John Wick. I can't kill no more people. So,
well, I was gonna say I did like all the
neat.
I did like all the scene, all the stuff with Owen and Beru and Luke. It was all great.
They did a really good job, those two, by the way, of portraying those characters.
It was also funny seeing Beru say something more than one line, because in the prequel she only says one line, which is hello, and that's it.
But she took control. She was prepared, man.
But I was happy with. I love that they had the gun stash and okay, tell Luke's the Tuskens are coming. You're gonna have to. And someone said, I noticed in the after fact of that when Luke escapes, he actually does not see the lightsaber or see her at all, not once, because he's in the hatch, already out when she walks in the room, and he's running forward, turns around, she's not there, goes back forward. And then she comes out, and it's not ignited, and he's knocked out later. So he actually never sees a lightsaber.
Is that important?
Well, because the first time he sees the lightsaber is with Ben. He's like, "What's this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's an ancient weapon." So he never sees a lightsaber before. Okay,
I get that. No, I get that point. But you do realize now that in the same city he lives in, they have Inquisitors walking around with lightsabers, cutting people's hands off. So, it's just one of those things we're gonna have to live with the fact that Luke is apparently he's hit his head too many times as a child because he has a hard time remembering that he knows what a lightsaber is because he's had to have heard of them at this point.
Maybe he knows they exist. He doesn't know what they look like.
Well, that's what I mean. He hasn't seen it, which is I think is a fun. Again, the thing we said earlier with the little subtle things like Darth and Vader, the makeup, seeing it. Always got his pet.
You know what I did find odd though when she's in the. When she goes to find out, that
was a weird.
What's happening? You haven't made an appearance in forever. And she knocks the water out of that foreman's hand because he cuts in line or whatever. She knocks the water out of his hand.
That was the strangest scene I've ever seen in my life.
That was so weird because what's the payoff to have this guy here again? She didn't then cut his head off right there, which I wish she would have, because then they wouldn't have ruined that character. But instead, she just knocks the water out and he leaves. And I was like, so why are we showing this guy again? What was the point of this? I don't understand the point. They made him a bully, and the bully never got his comeuppance. She slapped the water out of his hand with the force, granted, but I mean, she still slapped the water out of his hand. He was kind of like, oh, shucks, and walked off. I was like, there was no, have him then get run over by a speeder or something. I don't understand what the point of even showing him was. That being said, I feel like Disney has been paying off YouTubers. I'm gonna tell you right now, because I watched a bunch of them. New rock stars, they've always been in Disney's pocket. They're always pretending like they don't see problems and just saying how great everything is. And they're very annoying at times. They're great at Easter eggs, but do not listen to for anything else. But I saw a lot of people just not talking about the fact that what the hell is she even doing there? Like, I watched it again. I had the clip, but then I guess that's one of the clips I lost. He never says this is Darth Vader's children. He never says it. And they're like, I've seen a lot of people reach, well, she put it together easily by doing this, that, and the other. Easily. Random guy she doesn't know says kids. I know she knows they know each other. Says the kids are in danger. They know each other. That could be like uncle and uncle. They could be anybody's.
It could be Kenobi. It could be Kenobi's kids for all.
It could be Kenobi's kids, and they're like, "Oh no, she put it together that it was Vader's kids." How? He never says it, and they're all acting like he says it in that clip. He doesn't say it in that clip.
No.
Like, what the hell is she doing there? Like, I don't understand. Like, how she knows who these kids are. I really don't. Like, I don't know how you can say 100% she put that together. Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. And I called it, by the way. Somebody owes me a tattoo. What did you owe me? Because you said she was definitely gonna die. I can't believe you thought Disney was gonna kill her off. That was the dumbest bet you have ever made in your life.
I get so excited because when she goes to kill Luke to get paid back, like, anyways, and then she doesn't go with it, obviously, because we know there's a whole other set of movies we knew with Luke. So, anyways, she gets back. I was laughing because when she was coming back carrying the body and puts him down and just sits there, doesn't say anything as he's not moving. Like, would you not say something like you couldn't do it like there?
Right.
Moving first, and then Beru walked up, was like so sad, like crouched, like slowly, and then Owen just standing there looking, and Kenobi's looking. I would have swore that like Beru would have just quickly just
something, yeah. Like she made, because I knew she hadn't killed him at that point, and I was saying when she was walking up to him, I was like, she's got to announce ahead of time, hey, right. I know it looks bad, but I didn't kill him. Like, she just walked, and everyone's like, oh, good thing you didn't kill him. I'm like, how do you know she didn't? Like, what evidence do you have?
And then he goes after like a few seconds, and I'm like, okay, the Kenobi probably would have lost his mind there.
Right.
If that happened, and he would have.
He fell asleep in the back of the car.
So, when she was on the ground on her knees and she pulls a lightsaber out after talking to Chloe for a second, and she held it like this towards herself, I'm like, oh, she's gonna seppuku herself. Here we go.
Oh, and I would have loved it. At least it would have saved the character.
Well, third time's the try, right? You get stabbed twice in the gut. The time's the try. You're done.
If she had done that, and then Kenobi immediately cut her head off to be her second, immediately cut her head off like you're supposed to do traditionally. And they go, oh my God, we got to make sure the job's done. Like, I didn't want her to yell out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's been stabbed in the stomach 100 times. I can't have this happening again.
I was going to say, but yes, she didn't. She just drops things. So
I just realized I now have a third issue because I was about to complain about this. I didn't count this one.
Again, it's a thing where they're all the bad. Again, there's no true bad guys. Are all sympathetic, or they all get redemption arcs. She's a character that would have done really well with no redemption arc, where she let her anger and hate fuel her to that point, and then the point where she finally wants whatever she wants, with killing Luke as a kind of revenge or something, and she can't go through with it. In the moment, she should be like, "My life's pointless," and I let my life get controlled by anger and all this, and then kill herself. That actually would have been a good end to her character. Not because I didn't like the guy. I think it's a good end. There's not a redemption there for her. It's that your actions had your consequences, and it led you to that point. Presumably, as what's her name said, the rebel lady said that she helped the Inquisitors pull out and kill families and kids and all this, right?
Yeah.
Presumably, the third sister would have been one of the ones killing these kids.
I would think so, yeah, especially if she's a good undercover agent. Yeah.
So why would? Yeah. So you think you're redeemed? No. You're not redeemed.
Well, that is a Star Wars problem though. I've had that issue before with Star Wars, where
which
you
is why it would be nice
the famous example would be Revan, who killed an entire universe basically. And then one day he just said, I'm done with that now. And they welcomed him back in the fold like he didn't just kill a million people. Um,
Commit a
I've always had
genocide.
an issue when they turn bad to good. I've always thought that was weird that they're just like, oh, he's fine now. He rejected the dark side. Like, what's the problem? Like, the Catholic Church does that a lot too. They hide people in certain faraway places too. It's like, well, the deed is done. You can't pretend like it didn't happen. So that is an issue. Now, the biggest issue to me is how would have saved her arc would have been two things. If you didn't want to kill her off, because there's no way this is going to kill her off no matter what. Have her say she knew this was important to Kenobi or something, where she made it clear that she didn't know whose kids these were, and that maybe she thought it was Kenobi. She was still confused who they were. She knew they were important, but she was confused. And then have her force push Kenobi out of the way and then disappear into the dark. That's how you could have saved her. Or the other one is for her to look at Kenobi, and he had the same kind of stuff, how important this information is. You can't tell anybody. And then her to basically break down in tears and say, I can't leave with this information. It's too important. And then she or Kenobi finish her off, allowing her to leave.
I like that.
In a world with you can take the shit out of their head against their will. Who this is the most dangerous person in the universe. Is this young lady who's already emotionally damaged to leave that planet with that information was as bad as Kenobi pretending like he didn't know Anakin was banging Padme and everything else. That is equally as bad of a decision to allow her to leave. It's the most irresponsible thing he could have done, is let her leave with that information.
But maybe she hung out on Tatooine in the bar for like the next 8 years.
They're like, hey, you remember Reva? You mean that weird hermit girl that drinks herself in the
right? Because by that stage, by Rogue One, they're like, what's a Jedi?
Yeah, the Tiva. That's Tiva. I don't know a Reva, but I know a Tiva. Like I don't.
That's not her. Her name is Reva the Third. This is diff.
So that was the issue that I had with the other issue I have with it is I'm still going to be annoyed, and this is a little bit farther on. I'm still annoyed that Kenobi is the one that brought the boy to the farmers. Kenobi is the one that watched over him. If you go by comic books and books, he's the one that has saved that damn farm about 100 times from the Sand People, even though apparently they don't attack unprovoked anymore. He's the one that has kept him off bounty hunters. He has now saved him. He has now fought his dad. He has fought other people. And what is the first thing that damn uncle says to him is, what are you doing here, Kenobi? Didn't you promise to keep your distance? Like, I'm so annoyed by the uncle in all these episodes. Like, he has no give whatsoever. It doesn't matter how many times
I love that, though. He's like, I don't
keep your ass away from here, Kenobi. We talked about this. I'm done with you, sir.
I love that, though. It could be him secretly being like, well, Kenobi's like, well, I'll do this, and maybe he'll let me come see him. And then, Uncle Owen's like, the more I keep telling him no, the more he'll keep protecting us better.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he knows he's that jilted ex, and the more you tell her no, the more she's like, damn it, I can't be told no. I want to know what's going on over there.
I did love seeing his outfit.
Oh yeah, when he was leaving his
that had to annoy you, Casper, because I basically pointed at that comic book and I said they have to do something about that comic. And I didn't mean literally he was going to be dressed as that guy. I just meant that guy protected him, and they have to do something about that comic book. I didn't know they were going to. So funny.
when he was leaving his squatting location, and he saw the white, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. His back to his white out. Then he put the brown coat on. I was like, wait a minute. I was like,
goggles what did it. I started dying laughing when I saw those goggles.
The goggles are funny, yeah. So I was like, amazing. I'm like, that is. I was sitting there, and the fiance was confused, and I was so excited, and like, he's a new outfit, and I'm like, no, this is an old outfit now. I'm like, this outfit's with the colors.
I was confused about him leaving his dormitory though, because like, what did he just go deeper into the desert or something?
Well, remember, we had a house, so he's gotta start building that house Amish style.
Oh, that's right. I keep thinking about him finding him in that water.
He lives on that hill, so he's gotta. He either goes there and he kicks someone. He probably evicts someone out of their home.
Oh, of course.
Qui-Gon's help, or he just Amish style builds up his own place.
It's probably Boba Fett that kicks out.
So let's go ahead and just go to the next thing that I have been bitching about every episode.
Oh, What did you guys like about the hello there? Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Do you want to meet him? I was actually.
I really love that. Do you want to meet him? He walks with the little toy.
Yeah, it was kind of obvious once he was like, "Yeah, I know. I said I wasn't gonna be around, bitch. I'm peacing out. Like, give me a chance to freaking peace out." And he realized, okay, this time he's serious. He's gonna stay away now. Which, I mean, he has to though, right? Like, that's the one part they stuck to the damn canon no matter what, because he's an old hermit that he doesn't know, and he keeps hanging around. Clearly, Luke's gonna know who the hell he is. But so they stuck their guns on that son of a bitch. They would not let Kenobi get anywhere near that damn farm. But when he said, "You want to meet him?" like, it's definitely not a choke up moment, but I would be like, "Oh, that's actually pretty cool." That he was.
No,
Like,
it was I love that.
Because that's when you realize he
hasn't
met him since he turned him over as a baby. He hasn't actually talked to him. He sees him from like a creep from afar with binoculars, but he doesn't actually talk to him.
Old perv Ben over there on the hill.
Oh, what muscular arms you got there. Okay, so then, of course, the part they decided to throw that can in the trash can.
I hope you clipped it.
And then shot that shit into space. I did not clip anything. What do you mean? What did I clip?
That part.
Oh, no. I'm talking about little Leia. We'll get to that last part.
Oh, I forgot. The Leia thing comes before he goes to Luke. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I have a little bit there. Okay,
the holster?
No. Well, the holster, but the whole interaction, that whole scene. But the holster, I was thinking about that, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, okay. I'm like, she gets this holster. She doesn't have this holster in New Hope because obviously she had no underwear on. So
see, sir, I didn't even notice. I'm not that kind of person. I was looking at her eyes the whole time, even as a young one.
And then, but she has that holster in the comics, right? The yellow her suit in the comics. But does she have that in like Empire Strikes Back or anything?
She had it in Hoth. She had it then because she.
Like, her Battlefront costumes have that holster, that thing, and the comics do, but I don't remember the movies. Obviously,
I don't know if she had in the movie.
No,
I never bothered looking to see if she had a special holster. Halter top, maybe, not a holster for sure.
Senator outfit, but maybe she had it somewhere.
Yeah, the senator outfit had it. Yeah, that with the cape and everything. That's what had it and all that.
I did like the fact that again, her parents did a really good job. Those are two pretty good actors.
Oh, amazing! Like again, like the actors, all the seasoned actors did a very good job.
Yeah, they did a really great job. But then we had that moment with Kenobi, and
he gets off the ship, and she's like, "Oh my god!" But she was saying Lola. She wasn't excited to see Kenobi.
He said, "She's happens," and then she just turns around, pieces off of me. He's like, "Nope, see you."
Oh yeah, thanks for keeping my robot safe.
I don't know what to say about this because it's terrible what they did with her. Because other people have brought up. Okay, so I've read a lot of arguments about this. The fact that how could she be? They basically made her a bitch. Basically, they made her somebody so self-absorbed that she doesn't say hi. And I know that some people have said, well, he said we shouldn't tell anybody. Screw that. You're openly Ben Kenobi on a damn ship training Luke Skywalker. Clearly in the ship, everybody knows who the hell he is. So she should have said something.
No, she never interacted with him.
Huh?
She never interacted with him.
What are you talking about?
You mean on the in New Hope?
Yeah. When they're like no, like when they're fighting. She saw them when she ran by.
No. When they got to the ship, the door opened and they see them fighting at the very end of the fight, and he gets killed. Yeah. That's it.
That's clearly Kenobi.
Yeah, but that's it. That's all I was seeing. Like, they never interacted with each other.
But it's Kenobi. She sees him. They're fucking buddies. She was crying 7 years ago about how he's her best friend. She sees him getting killed by Vader, who she knows also, and she's like, some old guy. And she just keeps walking.
Now, to be fair, to think about it, maybe, I don't know, hours ago, her entire planet and her family died as well.
Yes, I know.
She's all desensitized, I'd say, in the head. Like, you're seeing him die too is like, oh, another fucking death.
Okay, here's the problem, because I've heard people say, well, don't forget, she's the same person that her planet exploded and she didn't care. Well, we don't know because stuff happened off camera. But if you're going to pretend like your planet didn't just blow up and go put your arm around some kid that you just met and say it's going to be all right, it's going to be all right. Ben seemed like a nice guy, and you don't share the fact with this guy that you knew him 7 fucking years ago. We're not talking 72 years ago.
Right.
You knew him, and
It
he
was
was
only
one
about
of
a
those
week.
mentors
Maybe.
you ever had.
Maybe they're gonna retcon it again, and maybe they'll be like, "Well, Bail had her mind wiped so that she wouldn't."
It just seems weird that, like, at no point, after, especially after she shot, that's her brother, did she ever pull him off to the side and say, "Hey, you remember Ben? I got a hell of a story there. Grab a beer. I got a story to tell you." Nothing. It's weird. I don't like it. I don't like that they did that. I think it's weird. I don't.
Pragmatic, because when it happens, I can't remember the exact text, but she basically says, "Luke, it's too late. We can't save him," or something like that.
Let me go look this up now.
And they run off.
Yeah. Well,
and then
he can be a Disney apologist all he wants to, but I can be disappointed, and I'm disappointed in the fact that at no point did she ever acknowledge she knew who he was for the rest of her life, even when it was clear it didn't matter anymore.
And when she's consoling him later, she's like, she doesn't say, "Look, you just lost your parents and you're worried about this guy that you didn't really know. I knew him better than you did."
Yeah, bitch, you didn't even know him. I knew him. Like, you didn't know him. Yeah. I did.
Your parents just got burnt to a crisp. Why are you worried about that?
So anyway, but that being said, it was a it was a cool moment. If you take this by itself, if you take this show away from Ken and everything else, it was fun moment they had with each other at the end there.
Yeah, Luke, it's too late. Come on. Yeah, she says that.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares? He's just some old man. I don't know him.
And then I'm playing a scene where she's consoling. I'm just want to see it.
Okay, so now that last part, my biggest beef, because this has literally been mentioned 100 times. It has been explained why this hasn't happened before. It has been explained on many different books and probably TV shows as to why this moment should not happen.
Master Qui-Gon.
Well, took you long enough.
Beginning to think you'd never come.
I was always here, Obi-Wan. You just were not ready to see.
Nah. Your mic's muted, Craig.
No, it was just like it was delayed.
So I will say that totally does break the canon of it. Because he was never able to make
kind of either. If you want to go by straight what they have explained from beginning to end, this is probably the biggest canon breaking moment in all of Kenobi.
It is 100%. Yeah, they completely break it. I was sitting there as soon as I saw the ghost pop up. So I was thinking, I'm like, because it's cool seeing Palpatine. We didn't bring up Palpatine shows up with Vader and the
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
That was a great scene too. And I was like, oh, cool. My brain didn't even acknowledge. I remember I said, like, is there going to be any surprise cameos? I'm like, oh, Palpatine, perfect. That's a fun cameo. And then my brain was like, yep, we're not getting anyone else. And then when the Force Ghost starts coming in, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, Qui-Gon. And then I'm like, the Force Ghost is coming in. I'm like, oh fuck, yeah, it's gonna break canon. But then as soon as he turned around, I was like, I sat there going, God fucking damn, my stupid fucking nerd stuff. It's fucking amazing. I love it.
I said, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. And I was like, understanding.
How much peyote have you had, Obi-Wan? How many?
Yes. I started watching it and I immediately was thinking it was cool to see him. And I'm glad they did it because I've always thought it was weird that they try to explain it like he's not able to do it. So I'm not mad at it. Like, I'm really not, because I always thought it was a weird explanation in the first place. You just didn't show it later.
Well, since he died, he's acquired a particular set of skills, and that includes becoming Force Ghost.
So what you might be thinking right now is that MrGarrell is upset because he showed as a full voice, ghost, Force Ghost. He's only supposed to be a voice. No. What I'm saying, the canon breaking moment is he's the only Force Ghost that aged after he died. That son of a bitch looks 30 years older than he did when he died. They did no youth turning back the clock on that damn ghost. That son of a gun is old as shit. I don't know why he's aging as a Force ghost, but he is aging.
Well, no, that was the thing. He only got the voice, so he aged until he got to his ghost.
So I guess he aged himself because he was trying so hard to become the ghost. He's like, damn it! It took all my power away.
How did Vader get younger?
Well, because when his Anakin self died, remember?
Yeah, because he was Anakin. Yeah,
that was the reasoning for that. I would say though, as a big Qui-Gon fan, I loved it, and I loved when he turned on the. I was looking at the hair immediately because I'm like, shit, they pulled that straight out of the vault. That thing did not. that thing was the exact same. They pulled that out of Skywalker Ranch's vault.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not mad.
Liam Neeson's on a green screen, just wait like in a room, and they're like, whoa, get the wig out.
And I do feel like a hypocrite because other times they broke canon that wasn't as important. I was immediately texting you about to break my phone in half and write a very nasty letter to Disney. And in this one, all I kept saying was, "You're not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to be there." And then I remember just smiling and just letting it go.
I'd say as well, it was at the end. It was at the end of the best episode with very little flaws, and that was a nice like cherry on the cake as well.
Yeah. But that's it. So I don't think I gave my score. I would say a solid. I don't want to say 9. That's probably high, but I'd probably say 8.75. Just because it's really hard to get like a 9 or 10 out of me. Because like if it was a standalone episode, they got rid of Leia. To me, here's how they could have. Everything I said, they could have solved this when they made all the mistakes for themselves in episode 1 and 2. Here's to me how they could have solved it. The whole Reva story could have been reworked. Like I said, they could have made it when she's being shot at by the snow speeder. If she had slid back, there's all kinds of different things we talked about over the time that they could have done with her. And at the end, if they had just done anything to save the character, to not make her that lovable bad chick, that she's probably gonna now be a bounty hunter with that heart of gold, but the steely edge. We have 7 of those bounty hunters. We don't need any more of those bounty hunters. Every chick bounty hunter is that bounty hunter. That's probably what she's going to end up being, I would imagine. But if they had just kept her more dark, but maybe she doesn't go too far. Like she'll kill 9 people, but she's not going to kill the 10th one. That's too much. She's not, or she'll kill anybody but kids. Something that would make sense to me. Like I said, if she didn't know who.
Again, that would make sense. They know when the kid, because she was a kid when she got stabbed, right? Like,
yeah. Her can't know that's Darth Vader's kids. That's too important because it does make Kenobi look like an idiot that he let her escape or let her go. Not let her escape. He told her good wishes. Peace be on to you, brother. That character, I think they could have done a better job with. Leia, if they had dumped her character in episode 2, so they didn't have such a bond, and it wouldn't have made it so weird later. Because there's so much stuff that goes on now. They've retconned so much stuff that the New Hope looks like a damn train wreck now. Because Kenobi looks like he's suffering from PTSD and probably Alzheimer's. Leia is just apparently an asshole who doesn't give a crap about planets dying and one of her best friends dying. Apparently, she also throws a damn robot away at some point that's so important to her. She threw that little bitch away because 7 years later, she don't even mention it as even like, I used to have a Jordan. He was nice. Like, no, it's just she threw that damn thing away. And then other than that, yeah, because they even brought Kenobi back. I mean, I think I would have liked Kenobi's story a little bit better if he had been slightly training and we didn't just get old man Luke. Old man Luke is what we just got, and then they pulled an old man Kenobi with the same thing. The Force has been bad to me, so I'm cutting it off. Like we just didn't need another one of those. Mm-hmm. Other than that, they landed the plane right. If they had just fixed those few things, I don't think it would have been as bad. Or if they just used the writer for the entire episode, the last 2 writer, if they had just.
All right. So speaking of that, so news came out. It was revealed that this was actually going to be a trilogy of movies, and they were writing the screenplay up for them all. And Ewan McGregor was on board with it, as well as some other stuff. And then what happened was when Rogue One came out, it was successful. They were good. When Solo came out and bombed, they scrapped the whole trilogy idea and were considering a single movie. And then they shelved it for a while. And then when Disney Plus started getting up and running, and The Mandalorian was very successful, is when they decided to take the screenplay for the first movie and stretch it out, and they still had to fill in stuff from the other parts to finish it off, because like the first screenplay was basically episodes 1 through 4 of the show. The writer for the first 4 episodes said that he had to adapt his screenplay into the show, had to stretch it out.
He did a shit job. I was gonna put it out there right now.
Which is why it shows that episodes 5 and 6 are different, because it was a different writer, because it was part of a different thing. It wasn't part of that original set.
Different mindset.
So imagining that this is supposed to be a trilogy of films, that basically that was supposed to just be one movie, that first couple episodes. Basically and that makes sense, because the idea would have been the first movie would have just been him going and rescuing Leia and bringing her back and calling it that. And then the second movie would have been Kenobi with Vader probably, and the third one would have ended with the second one would have been him and Vader, and the third one probably would have been after Qui-Gon.
The journals.
The journals. The third one would have been the journals. The second would have been the second half with Vader and him interacting the whole time. So that makes a lot of sense. That why it felt really weird. And obviously, it's been years and years since then too, because the Solo came out in 2014, 15, 16, I don't know.
Well, I still want to see the battle with Black Chrysanthemum that happens in the comics. I mean, that's how he got his scar on his eye from Kenobi. In this issue.
Yeah, with the somersault.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've always been teasing that they've been talking like they want to do a second season and such. I mean, it would be interesting if they did it, especially because you can continue off this story and you can have a Vader story on his own or whatever, and as the B plot. The B plot would be Vader, and then Kenobi would be the focus.
Well, and everyone knows Black K now, so it would be him younger.
Yeah, you can fold stuff in better, obviously.
Yeah.
But would you guys want to see them do a sequel, like a second season, or would you just want them to just leave this as is and then do something else?
I don't trust Disney at all, so bury this shit. Like, seriously.
As long as he doesn't go back to...
What if that same writer can go and do the last two?
No, I just don't trust. I mean, I don't trust Kathleen Kennedy. Seriously. Like I said, the issues I had with the show, there were like 2 good female characters, okay? It was the one sister who never spoke. She was a badass. And then it was the chick that was the secret special agent. And then they tried to ruin her at the end by giving her a karate chop that knocked out 2 stormtroopers in one chop. So like even then they try to blow it. But they're just gonna do something again like that where all the guys are dumb bozos and then they're gonna need somebody to come rescue. I don't know. It's just too much. Like it's like, you know what it does do though? It has you respect that old opinion of like the 1950s and 60s, maybe even earlier, where like every girl was a damsel in distress and the guy had to save them. Like you totally get a respect for that after watching Disney make about 8 of those movies where I was like, is no guy able to pump his own gas? I don't know what's happening. Like, why are they all idiots? Like,
I did like that character. What was her name? That she'd had that heroic.
That's the thing. I can't remember anyone's names.
That's not good.
And that's not a good thing because
what she got the holster from.
I have to have like, yeah, Kenobi did steal her holster. He did apparently go through her pockets when she was dead and get some mementos. How
did her holster survive when she exploded?
I did like, but you know, Star Wars got funny names though. They're like Corinth Calilius or something, so it's hard to know their names sometimes to give them the benefit of the doubt.
They could bring in Shara Bay and her husband,
Dameron's parents. Yeah,
Poe Dameron's.
You know what I did find interesting though is they didn't tease anything. Like they didn't they didn't really give like credits roll. And then there's like a laughter of some character. You know what I mean? Like they didn't
again, the end credits. There's just been some poor guy living in his hut on that cliff, and he looks out his window. Oh, looks like I got some new neighbors coming in. It's Kenobi coming to a victim. That's what.
He was like, somebody's knocking at the door, and he's like, old man Ben, and like, oh, and then that was it. And then that's a story for another day, boys and girls.
So I really loved the music. I think it was one of the best parts of this series.
Yeah.
And when Palpatine and Vader talk at the end,
what's wrong, my friend?
they cut to the Imperial March.
That was like, I thought that was gonna be the end for a minute. I was like, oh, and then I did the fake out ending.
I loved that.
One thing yeah, that was a great scene. I like that scene a lot at the castle. Yeah. Also, I thought I was just gonna say, because we said the friend line made me laugh, because I remembered that I had a discussion with someone that the first thing that Emperor Palpatine says in Episode 6, the first thing he says to Vader is, "Come, my friend. Come with me, my friend." Not like, "Hello, Lord Vader, my apprentice, my friend."
I'm gonna end it, but then it reminded me. Shout out to Voodoo Lily on Twitch, who first thing she asked me up this over with. She said, "Did you watch it?" And I said, "Yes," because she is very much Team Sith. She said, "Since when does a lesser sit on a throne and talk to his higher like that and not be in a kneeling position?" And I said, I didn't even realize until he said, other than I said, is Vader on the throne while talking to the Emperor? I did say that, but I was so geeked out about the fact the Emperor was there and they were having that little private conversation.
It's his castle.
That it reminded me that every other time he's ever talked to him, he dropped on his knees quick as shit and was like, "Yes, my master, what is your bidding?" And he sat up there like he had the biggest D in the room on his damn throne going, "Listen, I'll go after Kenobi whenever I want to." Like, it was a little strange that he was so
but it was his throne
in that moment.
That was his throne.
Yeah, that's true. I heard a little Anakin show in there. He's like, "Oh yeah, the shit."
Yeah, I think that was a little interesting, and I'm hoping off camera what happened was, as soon as the credits rolled, and he said, "Is there anybody in that room with you?" And he's like, "No, it's clear." And he electrocuted his ass from across the universe. Say, "Bitch, don't you ever talk to me like that again. It's sitting in the throne. You will be on your knees from now on." And that's why every time we see him in the future, he drops to his knees and goes, "Yes, master." Because he had to electrocute the piss out of him when he saw him the next time. You gonna talk to me like that with that bass in your voice on the throne? No. Because you gotta be I mean, they obviously upped his power over the years, the Emperor. Because if you go watch the original one, he looks super dangerous and he does cute little hand movements and stuff to get things he wants, and he can electrocute you. But they've upped his power to where he's like, one of the most powerful beings that ever existed.
Because you have to explain how you can hold that position when you have Vader.
But like a dog on a leash, as it has been said before, I don't think you would ever let Vader get any kind of momentum where he's like talking to you from a throne. I'd be like, no, not when I call here. Like, even when I say,
when the Inquisitor calls, you can keep your throne.
When I'm like, "Hey, son," and he goes, "What?" I'm like, "What did you say to me?" And he goes like, "Yes, Dad." And that's my son. That's not Vader. I mean, he might be a future Vader, but I'm not letting him get away with what. He has to at least say, "Yes, Dad," or something. He can't just go, "What?" But all right, so yeah, that's it. I hate to say it, I'm a sucker. I ended the show with a smile on my face. I know that's what probably people don't want to hear. They want to hear me rant and raid. I think the whole series was unnecessary, honestly, up until the last 2 episodes. I think they, like you said, they had a bunch of plans. They had a bunch of money already spent, so they had to make something. And then, do we know the name of the writer for the last 2 episodes? It's kind of important. Do you have it? Can you pull it up real quick?
I'll pull it up real quick.
All right. And then our 4th member, he decided he didn't need to do his job. He didn't do any slides. So not sure what that's all about.
Well, we can open it briefly.
All right, find that. And if you can go ahead and dox him and tell me at least what state he lives in, because I am going to call out to all Star Wars fans that when you see that man in the bar, you beer him. You see him, you beer him. That's key. All right, let me share here. Share screen. Share everything. Sharing. Okay, good. All right, I can try to increase it, but it's going to be
okay. So obviously, everyone wasn't involved in all the episodes except so the one writer that came on for the last 2 episodes was Andrew Stanton.
All right, you heard his name.
He.
You-
Oh. He. Okay, that's what. He co-directed and wrote Finding Nemo, Monsters Inc., Wall-E, a lot of Pixar stuff. So he actually does. So he's really well. Yeah, in Toy Story, he's well.
So that probably means he lives in California. So if you know this man and you see him at your local Applebee's, do not let him pay for his meal. He deserves at least one free meal off of all of us for doing the best he can. All right.
So this is a fun moment. So basically, the similar what happens to in Mandalorian season 1, the ending of that, when the stormtroopers are there with Moff Gideon, they obviously didn't have a budget apparently for a lot of so many guys in costumes that Filoni contacted the 501st costuming group to they want to be in the scene as extras, and they said yes because they have all screen accurate costumes. They all have stormtroopers and dust troopers there for Mandalorian.
Hundreds of them.
Yeah, so they had so many of them, and they're all accurate, so it worked perfect. And they just did it for free because they were just happy to be there. Now, for this one, same thing happened. They had 501st costume troopers who would do literally the 501st for the flashbacks. And this is the first time as well, I acknowledge, you see clone troopers, like real life clone troopers, because it's always been CGI. This is the first time you see a guy in a costume. And these were the guys here with Hayden, and I thought it was really cool.
That's neat.
It's super cool, actually.
Because they're really,
The costumers, yeah.
Cosplay. They're really strict on making sure you have pretty accurate costumes.
Yeah, they're like screen accurate suits, which is really cool. Yeah, and
he's been waiting a while.
That was the first thing I saw online after I watched the episode.
Lord Almighty.
So
that's a cool cover.
Yes, for New Comic Book Day today we have. Yep, today. So
it's weird. I've never seen a Darth Vader background like that. That's weird. They should do that more often.
I'm really enjoying that they brought
Ochi?
Padme's handmaiden in.
Save, amazing edition. This run, she's probably one of the better parts of it all. I'm pretty happy with it.
And I always love Ochi too.
Yeah. So that's issue 20.
You guys stop talking about how good these comics are unless you're going to join in together and buy me an iPad or something, because I've had about enough of this nonsense.
So that's issue 24. That's the A cover.
That's a cool cover, though.
This is the B cover.
God's name happened to her.
Which is her handmaidens. These are her 3 different handmaidens.
So why did that person?
Yeah, don't acknowledge it. And then they have the C cover is the Choose Your Destiny variant. So this one is obviously Vader with his lightsaber.
All those lightsabers.
I feel like that was done by a fan. Honestly, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I feel like
it looks simple.
You give me enough time with a drawing pad, and I might be able to pull that off.
Does the Grievous one have like 20 lightsabers on the cover?
It actually has 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah.
Dr. Alpha 21. It's the A cover as well.
Great.
Today. And then the B cover, which is the what was that called? The Greatest Moments one.
The Sprouts.
I don't think I call it the greatest moment.
He's looking a little thin. He's looking a little fit than I remember him for the TV show, but that's okay.
I would love a cover with him in the back of the tank.
Was that her first cover appearance?
I don't think so.
No,
is it? I feel like we've seen another one of her on there.
There must be another one.
Yeah, maybe.
But then you have Dr. Affer's C cover right there.
Is that a homage cover?
I don't know what it's.
I feel like I've seen this before. The fingers up and everything like that. The V for victory.
Those two have been hanging out in this series the whole time.
Oh, what a terrible!
We have the next issue of Han Solo, Chewbacca, number.
I haven't read that yet. The first
I know that's the style, but that looks like somebody did a really bad job in Photoshop. Like you're like, hey, give me a really quick thing of a combo cover you want to make, and I'm like, okay, I'll have something for you in 5 minutes, and this is what
he does good covers, but this one looks a little.
Who's that on the right?
Is that that's supposed to. In the comic right now, that's Han Solo's dad.
Oh.
Without spoiling anything, there's some shenanigans there. It's probably not his dad, obviously. No, this is a
Oh, he
cover.
got hit in the face with the same guy. That's unfortunate.
I like the concept of this cover. I just think I think everything from the Millennium Falcon to the right looks good, but Han doesn't look that great.
That and the fact that Chewbacca's in a wind tunnel or something. His ass is getting his hair blown back. It's a little bit, and he's also a little. I mean, I know his back is somewhere over here actually, but the way they made it seem like they're supposed to be back to back. So he's got a bird chest. He needs to work on that upper body.
This was the Tales of the Jedi Legends.
Now for the part of the episode where we see what the Canadian buys. He buys things like this.
No, I don't buy any of the epic ones just because
it's a month's wage on one book.
No. Yeah, some of these though.
And then Obi-Wan Issue 2. So this one,
the famous one where they fight Bigfoot. I remember that.
Well, no, this is the one where they fight the man wolf from space from Marvel.
Oh my God! Ka-chung! That's
That's
your toy.
It's
holy
What?
crap!
It's the
You know how much that toy's worth now?
Oh, this
this thing.
is it. This
Yep,
I
that's
can't
his first
see it,
appearance.
Yes.
See, the goggles he's wearing cover up the red eyes. That's the trick. That's funny. This is the B cover. Don't even ask me what this is. I haven't opened the comic yet.
I like the idea of the whips, but that's
the
kind
Pride
of
cover. It's what's her name?
That's
Harley Quinn. That's
Lomp Pop.
the wrong book.
Diva Lompop.
Is that supposed to be her?
It's supposed to be, I think.
Interesting. And then the choose your destiny, and this is the Kenobi version.
I was hoping that friends of mine would get together and send me some of those Kobe ones, but no, they never came.
Obi books.
Obi-Kun's ones.
I can have a look.
News wise, there's only 2 pieces.
Who cares about Europe? Those guys are terrible.
Star Wars Celebration in Europe. It's in London. That's what it is.
Finally,
And then the only Black Series figure.
they're releasing a Jawa. We have never had a Jawa before. I'm so glad they released.
There were 2 other so there was 2 Obi-Wan Wednesdays. They all had trash in them. Most of them were also just like multi-packs and stuff. This was the only new thing, and it was Tebow the Jawa. And then I saw immediately after this, I saw a post online talking about it, like it's a Black Series thing. And then someone mentioned, so we got Tebow the Jawa before we got Owen and Beru, before we got Leia,
I didn't even remember a Jawa in this series.
Remember he's the one who brought him the toy? Luke's
sure
toy?
about that? Because they totally missed the opportunity to have that toy up over here in this corner somewhere. Then it might have
my God. I didn't even think.
They totally missed that opportunity to put that little toy.
Because they reskinned some guy. That's all probably right. But yeah, they did this guy before Owen and Beru, before Leia.
When they do Luke, they'll have the toy.
Yeah, I say to get the full set with the Jawa, you have to get Luke, so you can have the toy.
Yeah, they totally missed that opportunity. Yeah, that's a little bit weird, but that's okay. All right, well, I think that's it. That is your 1 through 6 ABC.
All in all, I mean, I love the ending. The beginning, the first episode I liked a lot, and in the middle was kind of all over. I might give the series overall maybe a 6.
Yeah, 6 or 7. Better than Boba Fett. Sorry, Ka-chung.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Not. Everybody loves Mandalorian, but people forget there's like 16 episodes, and like a good 7 of them are, like they're just it's a long series, so it's pretty good though. Well, all right. I guess next week we'll be back at it. We're gonna need some advice, some hints of people you might want us to cover.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, we've talked about basically everyone that showed up in this series, so we can't really have a new person. Like when we did Book of Boba Fett, we talked about Chrysanthemum afterwards. This we don't have anyone.
Yeah. So, but all right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for watching all these episodes, and we'll catch you guys next week. Have a great day, night, whatever.